I call the honourable member, Reno Terakatani. Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. A kati tihewa mauri ora ki te whai au ki te ao mārama. E ngā mana e ngā hapu o ngai Tuhoe, tēnā koutou. Haere mai nunui mā, teitei mā. Nau mai haere mai ki te whare pāramata e takatū nei. Nō koutou tēnei rā, he rā whakahirahira tēnei. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, e ngā rangatira hurirau nei tō tātou whare, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Mr. Speaker, I'm delighted to be speaking at the final readings of these two bills on this historic day. Sir, Tuhoe, Ngai Tuhoe is an iwi that never signed the founding document of our nation, the Treaty of Waitangi. Yet, Sir, Tuhoe certainly suffered most horrendously at the hands of the Crown, and yet their contribution to the post-colonial history of our country is immense. Tuhoe supported the prophet hero Te Kōti and the Ringatu religion. They fought in the land wars at Rangiriri and Pukehina and Te Ranga, events that have recently been commemorated. The unreasonable, unwarranted and unjustified treatment meted out by the police to Tuhoe in, take your pick, 1916 and repeated in 2007 are some of the darkest days of our country's history. And yet there's so much more ordinary everyday Kiwis don't know about this proud tribe known to us as the Children of the Mist. Mr. Speaker, in the poetry of Māori oratory, we know the people of Tuhoe to be the wasters of food, treasures and men. And by that, sir, we mean that such were their resources, they could afford to be generous with their food and in the gifting of their treasured taonga. And when it came to warfare, it didn't matter how many Tuhoe were dispatched to beyond the veil. There were plenty more Tuhoe prepared to step forward and take the place of those who had fallen. Tuhoe, mau kai, mau taonga, mau tangata ki te pō. Sir, it's taken decades to get to where Tuhoe are today. They are an iwi who are well prepared for the future. Their new tribal headquarters at Tāneatua is proof of that preparedness. They have used their existing settlements, like around the fisheries and the like, to obvious great effect. And they seem more than ready to receive the Crown's apology, which the Minister will be delivering next month. And they're more than prepared for the recompense and the historical wrongs to receive that apology from the Crown. But, Mr. Speaker, I would like to acknowledge at this time those whānau and hapu who feel that the treaty negotiation process didn't fit their own truths, and so some withdrew their support from this claim settlement bill. Can I say to them that their actions are not new, and in every claims settlement bill that's ever been negotiated and settled, there has never been 100% acceptance by iwi. And that stand in and of itself is a perfectly legitimate point of view to hold, and one which must be accepted by all the parties involved. Settlement claims may be approved by a tribal majority, but they are never unanimous. Sometimes there is no way to move forward for those whānau and hapu who have deep felt mamai and hurt, and sometimes these dissenters can be made to feel ostracised from the rest of their kin. But can I say to them that their time is their ally, and hopefully that time will heal the wounds, and that the treaty negotiations invariably are there as a legacy which all of their whānau and hapu can enjoy. Because, sir, sometimes it's just not possible to pigeonhole every whānau, every mamai and every grievance into a settlement. The stories of Patuhiuhiu and their grievance of Tuhoe and the Waioho block is sadly one of these examples. Concerns were raised regarding the hapu and iwi, te upokorehe, and also certain situations surrounding ownership of Waikato Moana and neighbouring iwi like Ngāti Ruapani. And can I say to those whānau concerned that every member of the Māori Affairs Committee have taken into account every piece of information that's been provided to come up with the best possible outcome. And my hope is for those hapu and whānau who have maybe withdrawn from the processes, that they will at some stage re-enter the fold and enjoy the benefits that have been provided for all of the iwi. And I'm also reassured by the comments from the Minister that he will make provision for other interests. Mr. Speaker, it's my observation, sir, much like my whanaunga tau, but sir, it's my observation that one can identify a Tuhoe by the way they stand. There's something in their stance that suggests a tree, maybe a kauri. There's something in the way they stand that suggests a permanence, that they're going nowhere too soon. Maybe that's part of their mystique that Tau referred to. The staunchness and pride with which they stick to their guns, their personality, sometimes as attractable as their vast forest mother of Te Urewera. Who of us here and around the country will ever forget the day the Crown and the Waitangi Tribunal turned up at Tauaro Marae, having been transported there on horse and dray? The welcome of Tuhoe in full regalia was a sight to behold, as were the burning wrecks that littered the roadside and mirrored Tuhoe's sense of grievance over the scorched earth policies of the Crown in former times. The shooting of the flag by Tamaiti was the ultimate insult to those Crown representatives that bravely turned up that day. Heoi anō e te mana whakahaere o te wharenui. Those days of protest, evidence and negotiations have passed. Today's third reading and subsequent period between now and when the apology will be given next month, Tuhoe from the Minister, will be one for reflection and celebration. And so in finishing, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to acknowledge the other significant aspect to be enacted in this third reading, and that is the Te Urewera Bill. To Tuhoe, their association with the forests, rivers and mountains of Te Urewera defines who they are as a people. Tuhoe are the children of the mist maiden, Hine Pupohurangi. Their home are the mist-covered hills, mountains and valleys of Te Urewera. But the Crown could never acknowledge or grant Tuhoe to have outright ownership. Too much water has gone under our historical post-colonial bridge for the government to cede Te Urewera totally. And so this Te Urewera Bill is a clear and innovative way to recognise Tuhoe's link to Te Urewera and for the whole of the country. Te Urewera will become its own entity in law, as though it were a living and breathing thing. And of course, sir, to the minds of Tuhoe, that is exactly what it is. And so this Act serves as a way for Pākehā New Zealanders to better understand Tuhoe's association with those forests, rivers and mountains mentioned in the treaty and the taonga that is Te Urewera. And sir, earlier I mentioned how the largesse and magnanimity of Tuhoe in the gifting of their treasured belongings, Momo taonga. And I can think of no other gesture that best represents those words than this Te Urewera Bill that will become an Act of Parliament. And so I commend the negotiating parties and the Minister and all those who have been involved in bringing these settlements to this point. And sir, I can only just wish on behalf of all of the whānau of Te Waiponamu, Te Taitonga, all to Ngai Tuhua, all the very best for the future. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
I call... I'm just looking at this now. I've got Dr. Sharples here. I call the